Hey everybody, this is Christian here. I'm just gonna start things off a little differently. The trip to the mountain takes about 4 or 5 sessions, and rather than subject you all to like 2.5 months of walking through the woods, we are condensing a lot of these sessions into maybe 1 or 2 episodes total. And there's going to be a lot of jumping around. So I'll be coming in intermittently and filling in gaps and stuff that happens, but all of the important stuff is staying in. So let's get right into things. When we last left off, you all had been like recovering from the mission, fighting the mafia, and you have recruited your friendly local neighborhood druid to the rebellion for the resistance.
Oh, no, we need to...
And as a first matter of order, y'all have decided to go talk to the dragon that you're friends with and let him know that y'all are gonna be doing stuff.
And he should join because there's benefit.
I guess that is also part of the plan. I was not privy to. So you guys are just barely beginning on the road. It is the first day of travel. Who's taking point?
I guess Jen, maybe?
I mean, does anybody else want to take point?
No. I'll do
Well, at
it.
least you're honest.
I'll do it.
Flan decides to take point then. As we're rolling forward, let's have both Flan and Jen make perception checks.
Yay. Oh no.
Ah.
Oh no. Oh no.
What'd you get?
A 1.
That's
13.
not good.
Oh.
13.
13. Okay. So Flan, as you're riding out, the day is like the sun is bright, it's a beautiful day outside, and you feel the wind in your hair, and you don't notice this like rumbling sound.
Oh.
And Jen, as you're like speeding along behind Flan, it takes you a second, but you eventually cue into this rumbling, and you look slightly to your right, and you see this you see this human man like sprint out of the neighboring woods.
Excuse me?
Into like the road, and he like looks at you as he's running past, and there's a look of terror on his face as he bolts to the other side, and then like a couple seconds later you see 8 giant goats bounding along after him.
Oh.
What do you all do?
What is there to do in that situation?
Are the goats trying to attack us?
Not attack you. Sam, make an animal handling check to see what you can tell about this goat's body
Can Jen
language.
try and figure that out too.
Goat's body language.
Sure, Jen, you can also make an animal handling check.
Which I'm actually not bad at. See, I took any animal handling check when it's with Skittles, it's bad, but other stuff doesn't mean.
I got a 16.
Okay.
I got a 21.
So, Sam and Jen, you both notice that they're not outwardly hostile. Like, they aren't out for blood or anything. But they do seem territorial. And it seems like this man got into their territory and they're trying to kind of ram him out.
Kingdom of the goats. He trespassed in the kingdom of goats.
But there are 8 goats.
Holy shit. Are they small goats? Big goats?
They are giant goats, so they're like 6-7 feet tall.
Do goats get that big?
Giant goats do.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I have never seen a goat that is even half the size of me.
I'm totally fine with watching this happen.
I don't know what he did to anger this crowd, but I feel like he deserves it.
What does the human man look like?
He is about like 5'8", wearing some overalls and like a kind of like roughed up, tattered shirt. He's
Is
got
he already like way
red
past-
hair and freckles.
Is he already like past us and out of our sight, or is he like?
We're kind of in bullet time right now, so like
Okay.
this moment is just kind of frozen as you all decide what you want to do. And he looks like he looks young. He could be like 17, 18. Just barely starting to get scruff on his face.
Is it like farmer's clothing?
He definitely looks like a farmer boy.
Oh.
And
no.
he also looks deathly afraid of these 8 giant goats that are chasing him.
I don't know what to.
Does he look like he's been like?
so if he's
Can
down
I-
a lot, he can feel pretty
Can
bad.
you?
Can I yell out to him?
Fine. He might die, but it's
Climb
fine.
up a tree!
You tell him to climb up a tree?
Yeah!
Are you trying to inspire this boy?
I don't know.
Do you put a little trill on it and sing a little bit
On a tree.
I feel like they could
to
easily
help this man?
clear a tree.
Yeah.
I want.
Okay.
I don't. What am I? It's a split second. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know. You told him to climb a tree. I just want to know if this boy gets bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that, and he like turns and looks at you, and looks confused, and then he looks at the like behind him and sees that they're gaining on him, and he's going to look and find a tall tree and try and Tom and Jerry ass climb up it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
What happened, man?
So
No.
he starts running, and this is like a tall oak tree on the side of the thing, like an easy 10 feet tall. And he like sprints up and he jumps and he tries to like cling onto it, and then you just see him slide down and you can almost feel the splinters.
Oh god.
And he like it hurts, and then he claws one arm on top and then the next, and just slowly starts making his way up.
Oh.
But he's not fast enough, so one of the goats runs up and like rams him in the butt and knocks him up a little bit.
Oh no.
And he's gonna take.
Oh no. Holy shit.
So you see this guy just kind of get flung upwards
Oh shit.
a good like 6 feet, and then hit the ground like a sack of potatoes.
Uh-oh.
And then you just hear an.
We just witnessed a murder.
And
Play that. They might leave you alone. They might leave you alone. Give them some food. Do you have any food on you?
you see the goats start to surround this man and like dig their hooves into the ground, almost like
I'm
bulls.
gonna try and give some food.
Do I have to attack
Sam,
this
what do you
fucking...
have? Sam, what do you have?
I don't. I don't know.
Sam, what do you have to give to the goats?
I had no plans for this encounter aside from man and goats.
Well, I didn't expect that to go so bad.
He rolled a 2. So, Sam and Jen, you walk up to 2 of the goats, and they like look at you and are about to ram you, but you see, they see the food in your hands, and they like stop and tilt their heads to the side, and very cautiously move forward and just kind of take it from your hands. There are still 6 goats surrounding this boy.
I don't...
Our goal wasn't to save the boy.
And at this point, Shiloh kind of runs up
Yeah, I'm like...
and
Yeah.
Oops.
and they are going to just try to calm some more of these goats down. So you see them run in to like the whole circle, and like Chris Pratt in the Jurassic Park
the
movies with the raptors, just they like stick their hands out
Yeah.
and are saying some
God.
stuff in Sylvan.
Mm-hmm.
Flan, you realize that they're just trying to like say like, calm down, nobody needs to get hurt, it's all good, he just made a mistake.
I think he might need to get hurt. Oh,
That's a 32 plus...
nothing. The goats are clearly in the right, and the boy must be in the wrong.
So you see the goats kind of stop their charge, but they are still circling the boy.
So they look like they're backing off a little bit, but they're still...
They aren't about to attack anymore, but they are not backing off.
Oh.
It's kind of like neutral. They're like waiting and watching.
Neutral goats. Yeah.
The boy is just kind of like writhing on the ground.
How bad does he look?
There are a ton of splinters in his arms, and his leg is bent in a way that it probably shouldn't be.
Ow! Holy shit!
If I
He fell
had
10
a-
feet out of a tree after getting rammed by a goat.
Yeah, can I cast Cure Wound?
Yeah, you have to go inside the goat circle. Is that okay?
That's fine.
I mean,
All right.
7. 3 plus 4.
Alright, so you, like, you pat him, I guess, like, on the shoulder
Mm-hmm.
or something, and you see, that his leg starts to, like, angle itself correctly and heal as this, like, light washes over him. And he coughs, and he looks up at Flan and says, "Oh, well, I appreciate it, ma'am.
What did you do?
I don't rightly know. I was
How do you
working...
not know?
You don't know?
I was trying to find my dog because he'd run out of the ranch, and next thing I know, I am standing face to face, or well, face to like beard, with this big old Billy friend over here, and he and his friends have been chasing me for damn well near half a mile now.
Half a mile? You ran half a mile here?
It was either that or get flattened by a bunch of goats, ma'am.
I don't think as much as this is a really pitiful scene, I don't think I can do much to help, and I definitely don't want to fight these goats. I'm sorry, sir.
I wouldn't want to fight them goats neither. That's why I was trying to
don't
run,
think I
but these
physically
bastards is
can.
fast. Ugh, and he like sits up, and you see a lot of the goats like tense up,
Yeah.
and Shiloh keeps trying to calm them down, and he just starts like pulling splinters out of his arm, and he winces as he like plucks each one out. He says, "What are y'all doing on the road? Y'all look like
On the road.
y'all look like city types."
We're traveling.
We're going to the next city.
Oh,
In fact,
well, I
I'm not
appreciate
actually a city type, but yeah, that works.
the help. Could I ask for a little more, and maybe could y'all help me find a way to get out of the path of these goats? I ain't sure where. God,
Leia,
what
don't.
what
Leia,
city am I closest to?
Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Oh, I ran
Just
a lot
go
farther south
down
than I
that
expected.
ways. And Jen points in the direction where we came. Go down that a ways.
No, I mean I know how to get home. I just have run farther south than I expected.
Oh.
Um,
But right now you kind of have a
are you
coffin with your
from
name on it as is.
No,
Yeah,
I'm from a small town, a little bit to the northeast. We just kind of, it's a lot of farmers.
What's
I
that?
can imagine.
Oh, it's, Shady Bell.
Shady Bell.
There's not too much there, but, you know,
Where did you say it was?
to the northeast.
Is there a lot of shade there?
I mean, we do have some very nice trees. When they, are fully grown, they do have a nice, a shady path along the road.
That's nice.
I mean, yeah, it usually is pretty nice, and when the fall happens and all the leaves change colors, it's right beautiful. Say, could y'all help me get out of this goat circle, please?
Also,
I
Leia.
think if you play dead, you might be able to get out of it.
I don't think that's how goats work.
They are
Also,
not
Le-
dinosaurs.
Also, Leia.
Yeah.
Maybe if we knock you out, we'll
Leia-
make it look like you're dead.
Doesn't Flan know Sylvian?
Sylvan.
Yes.
Yes.
Sylvan?
But I just, like, Shiloh handled that already, so I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna do a better job than
more
Shiloh.
people helping could be beneficial.
As Jen says this, you turn and you see like Shiloh is stuttering a lot more than they like probably should be, and the goats are not having any of it.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. I have to help out then.
Sure. You could either make a roll yourself or just give Shiloh advantage on their next roll.
Can I give Shiloh advantage?
Yes. Wow, 2 11s, huh? They seem to be piecing it back together. But these goats look unreasonably pissed. The boy
With an
like-
army of-
looks up and turns to Jen and he points at your belt and he says, I know I am asking quite a bit, but could I get one of them potions? I think I broke a couple of ribs in that fall.
These aren't health potions. I'm sorry, man. We're actually kind of low on health potions. We gotta get some at next town. They're speech potions. They kind of. I got them for her, and I point at Sam. She's kind of not real great at the
I like to kill people for a living.
That's not what you say to people when you meet them, especially in this situation where someone might die or not. Don't say that.
I wasn't hired to kill him.
He looks very wide-eyed,
You don't say that to people.
and he looks at
It's
Jen.
not a conversation topic. You can see why I need these potions, because she will get herself to way more trouble than we need her to.
Flan
so-
hands him a potion.
Bless your heart, miss.
We're just over here being the grumpy crew.
Wow. Alright, he's back up to full. So you see like the bruises just kind of disappear as he finishes the potion. He says, I will I don't have the money on me to pay you back right now, but if y'all ever stop by Oh well. If y'all ever stop by the town, you are at least welcome for dinner. It's the least I can do.
Oh.
And he like stands up.
I guess if we head that way.
I don't know if it's on y'all's way, but you know, and door's always open. And he like stands up and goes to move, but then he realizes he is still surrounded, and he says, "Shit."
Can I try talking to the goat?
You can. What do you say?
Why are you all so angry?
So Shiloh turns as you say this, and the rest of you all hear Flan take a deep breath in and go, "Blah!"
Really?
And the goats.
Are there like different dialects of Sylvan depending on the animal?
Yes,
Really?
there are now, because it's funny.
Are you a goat demon?
And Flan, the goats bleat in response, and they say, This one's dog is a real ass. I have never seen a terrier so angry. It has scared our babies.
Why didn't you attack the dog?
We cannot catch it. Too small and fast.
Fun.
But like, even if you kill this guy, the dog's still gonna be running around.
Goats do not have a sense of that form of justice. I would like everybody to realize that this just sounds like a bunch of bleeding to everybody else.
So Shiloh was bleeding too?
Oh yeah, but like much quieter. Like under their breath, so it was harder to tell. But Flan had no reservations. So just a big old fashioned.
Hey, dude.
Yes, goat ma'am.
They don't like your dog.
Well, if I can get him back home, I'll make sure he don't bother the goats none. Could you tell him that I don't speak goat, ma'am?
I told them that.
You can. Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
Where's my pink D20?
And don't you have the silver tongue thing?
That makes her charisma 19, yes.
Persuasion?
Yes.
23.
The biggest, meanest looking goat kind of looks at you as you plead this man's case. And it looks at the rest of the goats, and there's a bunch of whispered bleeding.
Whispered bleed.
And after like a couple of seconds, the head goat like looks at you and says, "Fine. He has till the next sunrise. If we see that dog again, we will eat him."
Okay, dude, you're gonna have to do this real quick, or else they're gonna eat your dog.
What? Alright. How quick is real quick?
By tomorrow morning.
Oh. Fuck. Alright. I guess I'm gonna have to...
Buy yourself a new dog, I guess.
Wow! Excuse you!
Or you like, just chain it up.
Oh shit! Just, I mean,
get one of those little leads that like
yeah,
keep
that.
them on the
How
property.
far away is your home?
Oh, it's like, from
Make
here?
a fence.
Yeah.
Given how far I've run, I could make it back home in, by moonrise, probably. I should be fine. I got a lantern for when it gets dark, so I can find Mr. Ruffles and
Mr. Ruffles.
be back.
Ruffles.
Thanks.
Ruffles ruffled the goat's feathers.
And I see the goats like, you promise not to hurt this guy if he does this, right?
We're goats, not monsters.
I don't know, there's some pretty monstrous goats.
Yeah, a goat tried to eat my sweater one time.
Goats are scary, man.
And they just kind of like start to disperse.
Okay.
And Shiloh puts their hand on their chest and is like breathing very heavily.
You okay, Shiloh?
That's a lot of goats.
My first time speaking some goat. Flan,
I
with her first
should be
time
fine.
speaking goat, manages to convince them versus a seasoned druid.
The boy dusts himself off and like offers his like a handshake to Flan,
Yeah.
and he says, "Name's Riley.
Riley?
Riley, yeah. Come say hi. Farm's got some stuff. It's good eating."
My name's Swan.
Sorry
Pleasure
that
to
I
meet
was
you.
messing with you, Riley.
Yeah. Thanks for deciding to not leave me for dead.
I mean, if things got much worse, I would have stepped in and done something.
Sure.
Hopefully Sam would have done the same, right, Sam? You wouldn't have let the goats murder this man, Sam?
Not that mean.
Okay, I don't know. You just told them that you kill people for a living, so I didn't know what your thoughts were.
I thought that was just a regular thing people said to other people.
As
No,
this conversation is happening, Flan, you notice that he's like counting the number of potions on Jen's belt, and he says, "Yeah, sure. Appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna go find my dog now. Thank you all." And he starts heading off towards the woods.
I hope you know the way back home.
Oh, I'll be fine. I can follow the road for most of it.
Okay. Good luck.
And he disappears off into the woods. And Orion like walks up, and he says, "I'm sorry. Is this something that is common in Heart Kingdom?"
No, this is not a
No.
normal thing anywhere. I will tell you that for sure.
I mean,
Trying to
Or
go
like
for any
people
goats?
being chased by goats, or like people speaking.
Sai walks up behind Orion and says, "Yes." And Orion looks at Sai and says, "What she said."
None of that is normal. I'll tell you that.
I mean, we run into a lot of things, and they're typically weird.
I
So
see.
I don't think we're the best people to ask about what's normal. I mean, we just freaking befriended a dragon. We killed a demon. Anyways, what?
So right about now, Orion pitches that he can summon the elementals that Flan and the party need to defeat to make that cool magic weapon that she had been looking at or thinking of making. And they decide to do that around the end of their adventuring day. The fight itself is fairly standard, and there aren't any major bumps or bruises.
21 damage for that
Wow.
first.
21 damage?
Okay. Ow.
Bitch, what the
If that wasn't enough,
It's still standing, but Jen, you do like whirl your glaive around and just fucking slice right through its neck, and you see this magma just start pouring out.
Ooh.
And you take 3 points of damage as some of it lands on you.
okay.
And afterwards, the crew decides to set up camp for the night. So we're going to be jumping in as they are taking their watches.
Excellent. Then we should set up camp. Who wants to take watches? I can take the late night shift. I only need 4 hours of sleep. So
So is Fawn, but she'd rather sleep in.
well, there are many of us, so we can split up the watch duties. I think if we do it in pairs, someone can sleep. 2 people can sleep the entire night. I know I will volunteer for a watch. Sai nods and says, "Yeah, I can take a watch too."
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with taking a watch.
I can take a watch.
Me too. I'll take a watch.
Maya nods as well, signing that she'll take first watch.
Okay.
So who else wants to go take first watch?
Samuel.
All right. Sai says that she'll take second watch. If anybody wants to go with Sai.
I'll do it.
All right.
I don't have anything to say.
Fair enough. And Orion volunteered for the last watch because he doesn't need that much sleep. So.
Okay, then Jen will do last watch.
All right. You will also get your full 8 hours by the time your watch starts, so you'll have a long rest. So the first watch goes. It is Sam. Make me a perception check to keep watch. So will Maya. Okay.
21.
All right. So the night is fairly calm. You can hear like owls hooting and like animals running around the woodlands. But it all is quiet, it seems. You assume that maybe the sounds and lights coming from fighting a fire elemental have scared off any would-be natural predators.
Yeah.
Maya turns to you and kind of like concerned says, "Hands okay?"
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've damaged them this bad before.
Really?
They'll heal after a while.
What are you, Deku?
Maya shakes her head and sticks one of her hands out and motions for you to put yours on it.
Okay.
And then she will place her other hand on top of your two, and she's gonna give you, how much damage do you still have?
I need to heal 5 more points.
So she'll give you those last 5, and you see the burns start to fade away from your hands as she does so, and you feel this like warmth kind of course through your body. And then she like lets go and just like claps her hands together, kind of like signaling that job's done.
Thanks.
Maya nods. She says, she puts her hand up to her throat and starts healing some, and she says, "How do you know Nick?"
I don't remember. How does Sam know Nick again?
I mean, you could make something up if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
You both used to work for the Mafia. That's as much as, like, I'll tell you.
When I was still in the Mafia, I would hear about him a lot. and I met him one time at a bar. I may or may not have been on another one of my drunk escapades, but you know, it was a good night. We got into some trouble. But I may or may not have picked the fight with the wrong person, and he helped me, and I woke up at his place on his couch, and and it kind of just went from there.
And you told Maya you guys weren't together.
Maya looks
never-
at you,
never did it.
confused.
Implication, it sounds like you did.
She says, doesn't seem like he'd be so friendly, huh?
No, I don't know. It's Nick.
It's Nick. We don't know him enough.
So how are things going for you? You like, is all good? Chill in the hood?
Maya
Lollipops.
looks a little confused and says, what? What do you mean?
I'm asking, how are you?
Fine? Not with the mafia anymore.
Yeah, good talk.
Maya, like, lets out a big sigh and tosses the sludge that was in her hand onto the ground. And she nods. And your watch passes. Maya will go to wake up the next two, so Flan, you are woken up and you see that Sai is just kind of like sitting on a stump.
Yeah, I'll sit next to her.
Alright. It is a very, if anybody were awake, it'd be a hilarious image.
Very, very big lady.
8'4". She is like, she's like taller than you sitting while you are standing.
Yeah, Fawn is like almost half the size of Sai. Like a little taller, but still.
And I want you both to make perception checks. Okay.
4.
Yeah, so
Oh.
you are, one, a little intimidated because the crown princess of Club Kingdom is sitting right next to you.
Yes.
And two, a little distracted
Uh-oh.
because you see that as she's taking watch, she has this like little parchment and like a pencil out, and she's like doodling.
Oh. Oh my god.
What quality are the doodles?
They are...
What's she drawing, first of all?
It is a sketch of the fight that y'all were having, but it's a little childish.
Oh.
So there's like a big, in red, like, you think it kind of looks like a fire, kind of looks like a maple leaf, with these big eyes and two big hands. And then you see, like a stick figure with horns, and then a stick figure with a bow tie, and they're like, look like they're trying to fight the creature. And then you see, you see what Sai's best attempt at you is, which is, it's like a stick figure with shorts and a beret. And she's trying her best, but it's not great. But she, like, sketches for a bit and looks up and around, and then continues sketching.
It's a cute drawing.
She,
like
looks
the
a little
colors.
embarrassed, and she says, oh, thanks. I don't know, I like the drawing.
Do you draw a lot?
Yeah. It's, it passes the time.
Yeah.
What do you like to do?
I like to read
Well-
books.
What kind of books?
I like, kind of like fantasy, like fairy tale. A little bit
Like-
romance.
Oh, like the princesses and the knights and the dragons?
A little bit.
That's nice. Those stories are nice.
Oh, you like those types of stories?
Yeah, they're fun.
They're fun.
Interesting.
It's, yeah, better than sitting in the keep all day. It was either read, draw, or train.
Oh. That sounds pretty rough. Being stuck in one place all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of had a similar thing. My parents wouldn't really let me leave our mansion that much.
Did they have you fight all day too?
No. Just focus on studies and other things. I couldn't really go out and see other parts of the town so much.
What was your town like?
It's a big, bustling city. Lots of people, lots of nobles.
That sounds terrible.
I don't know.
Do you draw?
I mean, not really. I don't think I've ever tried drawing.
No. I'm trying to find a way to show the... And she points at Maya. Pale lady, but I don't know what to give her. Because I can't draw ponytails good.
Maybe just like a sword.
She is the only one that fights with a sword. And she starts like sketching a sword in the hands of another
She
stick
can't
figure.
draw ponytails that well.
No.
Aw.
But the night like it's calm and it's quiet.
Okay.
If there's anything that you want to ask, Sai, go for it.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. So time's up, and you see Orion like walk up behind the both of you and put his hand on your shoulders, and he says, "I think it's my turn. Yeah, I'll go wake up Miss Santos. You two have a good night, okay? If you need any, there's some snacks over by the bedrolls.
Ooh. Okay.
It's just bread and milk, but you know."
She grabs a thing of bread.
Sai also, and she smiles and nods at Orion, and he just kind of like gets a warm-hearted smile on his face, and he walks over to Jen's bedroll and just kind of like gently shakes her awake.
Oh, yeah, watch.
Yeah, it's our turn. Do you feel well rested enough?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Alright, then this way. Let's
Okay,
go take up our positions.
sounds good.
And he sits on a stump. And he left like the cleaner looking one for you.
I was gonna say you sound so militaristic, but I mean,
What?
yeah.
So the both of you roll perception checks. I think his bonus is something stupid.
Like bad stupid or good stupid?
Good stupid.
11.
Yeah. So you two are looking about. And nothing really like catches your eye. The stars are nice and it's a quiet night. You see like the beginnings of the sun starting to peek out over the horizon. And Jen, you notice that as Orion is sitting there, he's like, you made it a point to compare Sam to Deku earlier, but he's doing that thing where Deku just keeps mumbling over and over again, and he's like counting on his fingers.
You concerned about something, Orion, or?
You see him like snap out of it for a second, and he looks at you and says, "Oh, yeah, sorry, I was
No.
lost in my own head a bit there."
No, it's fine. Penny for your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to come up with a plan to do what we're trying to to do. I mean, we're trying to overtake our own kingdom. That's going to take a lot of steps, and to be honest, I didn't think too much farther than getting her out of here.
Hmm. That's honestly surprising. Why were you, if you don't mind me asking, why were you in a position to get her out of there? Last time I checked, I didn't know you were in that kind of position to do that.
um, he like unbuckles a clasp on his cloak and he like sets it down and folds it, and you see like a full suit of plate mail that he's wearing, and he says, I yeah, while I am the strategian for the kingdom, he like presses his fists together, and you see that the plate on his like body uh shifts and it like clanks over and it forms a shield where his two fists are, and he says, I'm also the king's guard.
Oh.
So I'm very close to the family. This set of armor was gifted to me specifically for that purpose.
Oh.
And he like does his fists, and the like plate starts to shift back into armor. And he says, I was also a friend of Cyrene's mother before she passed.
Has her father ever been okay, or has he always been this way?
Vadim is a complicated man. No, he's a terrible man, if I'm being honest.
I sure would hope so if you're having a whole revolution against him.
Yeah, well, he is convinced that this world belongs to him. That we've been given the short end of the stick too many times, and
Oh.
we should take it all by force, since that's what Stjarkala has given us.
That sounds. Yeah, that.
Tyrannical, doesn't it?
Among other things, yeah.
That, in and of itself, is bad enough, but when Sai was born, he wanted a son.
Oh.
Needless to say, he was not very happy when Sai was born. So he did everything in his power to make the public think that he had a son. He treated her terribly, kept her out of the public eye, kept her hidden as much as he could afford to, but would force her to work on her martial prowess every hour of the day.
Was her mom there during this happening? Or was she gone by the time?
For the first few years, Cyrene's mother would do her best to shield her from the brunt of it. She would ease up the lessons, or provide her with respite breaks, something, but Vadim was displeased.
Oh.
So she was dealt with.
Oh. Can't believe she had to deal with that. I mean,
She
I
didn't
believe
know
it 100%.
She didn't know for a while. She was told that her mother was sent off somewhere to lead a troop. It wasn't until a decent while that she found out the truth.
So, I hate to be the one to ask this, but it's gonna have to be a question, I guess, on our mind at some point. And considering, I guess, your tact and foresight, you probably have thought about it at least some point. But when we get to it, the whole revolution, everything, and we get to him, how are we gonna deal with him? Like, what are we gonna do?
That man listens to one thing and one thing only, and it's force.
Yeah. So.
Besides, I don't think Sai would have it any other way.
So. A goner? Is that what you? I don't.
I'm sorry.
I'm just. How do I put this? Are we gonna make sure he doesn't do things, or are we gonna? I guess do what he did to his wife. I guess is the nicest way to put it.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't think that if he is allowed to live, that we'll have a chance at rebuilding.
Yeah.
He has many supporters, and he has immense strength.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of crazy to think about that, you know?
Yeah.
Not because he's my king or anything. I've never thought of it like that. More just kind of sigh, I guess. Huh.
Yeah, I worry about her. She couldn't.
For good reason, I can imagine.
She couldn't stay there, but going back, the burden that will be placed on her is immense.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
She doing better now? I can't really tell.
she talks more.
That's good.
I don't know if I'm doing well. I'm no father figure, and
I think you're doing the best you can do. I'd say you're doing a great job, Orion.
he
10 out
smiles
of 10.
and he says, "Thank you."
She seems happy enough anyway, so I'm sure at this point she appreciates anything she can get.
I hope so.
You're doing fine, man. I don't know how it is for you, but
It's a
I
whole
would- I
other can
wouldn't-
of worms.
I wouldn't think about it too much, bud. You got this, man. I don't even. It might have just been because I was the first person you saw or whatever. I don't know why you'd even consider me or us for this whole thing.
Your track record precedes you. You in one of the. Don't sell yourself short.
No, you're. Look at your track record, man.
Yeah, and I mean, one man is not an army.
Yeah.
So I needed the best help I could find, and you were in one of the most dangerous squadrons in the army, and survived for as long as you did. Takes some skill.
I don't know how it compares. I haven't really seen the big picture. I'm sure you might even see too much of a big picture. I've only seen the small, unfortunately.
You give me too much credit.
I don't
Honestly,
think
the
I
plan
do.
was to run as far away as I can. That's all I had.
You're doing a lot better than that, Orion.
I mean, it
I
wouldn't
can
have been
see-
so without help.
I can see why you have your position as tactician, for sure.
I suppose. You
God.
don't sell yourself short.
I mean, other than in height, I am pretty short.
He laughs actually pretty hard at that, and he says, "No, I was never good at pep talks."
It's fine, you don't need to be. At least you're honest about that.
The people needed someone they can relate to. That's not me. That's not Sai.
I don't think they can relate to me.
You've been through the worst of it.
But I've left. I haven't been through it. I've been purposely separating myself from all of it.
Just like everyone wishes they could do. But if you come back to fight for this, I think everyone will see some of themselves in that. Don't you?
I don't know. I honestly, you all are the stuff heroes and legends are made of. Don't sell me too high. I don't know how you would say the opposite of short. I don't honestly, I have nothing else to do. I'm honestly not doing this for my kingdom, I guess. It's not as noble as you make it sound, Orion.
You're doing it for something. Whether or not that's for yourself or for the kingdom remains to be seen. But you're not getting any money out of it, and it is a mountain of work. So your heart's in the right place.
I beg to differ. My heart's been in the wrong place for... Jen tries to count on her fingers and then gives up. I don't know how many years, but it's...
Well, you're doing it now.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Although I'll just have to take your word for it and not believe you on that.
I mean, it's not really my word that you're taking. It's the rest of your squad mates that sing your praises. The ones that...
What squad mates, honestly?
The ones that came back, the few who did, they... very adamant about how central you were to keeping morale up, especially when things got tough.
It doesn't look like that way anyways. The last time we were at Stone's Throw.
What happened?
I met, not with... only with relatives and people who kinda knew me, not, I guess, my squadron specifically. Oh, no, I did find one of them. Yeah, that's not how it, seemed, at least from where I was. All seemed like a lot of... they were doing their best, and I did the opposite of that. You left everybody. And coming back from that's kind of... I don't know, I guess they know me too well. They know it's nothing too noble, nothing too good.
Well, I can't speak for them or their reactions or their grief, but you could have just as easily stayed away. Whether or not you accept it or choose to, you're doing something you describe yourself as not being capable of. Even if you're not looking at it, it's happening. There's something in you that I don't think you pick up on.
Well, please enlighten me. What is it?
Well, for the first thing, when a giant being made of fire is creeping its way towards your half-elven friend there, your first instinct was not run, it was not flank, it was protect. I haven't seen you in too many fights, but I assume with how little hesitation you did that it's something you default to. And that takes a lot of heart, courage, and a lot of fear. I speak from experience. They don't call you the King's Guard for nothing. I know it's hard and
and scary being the shield sometimes.
Yeah, how did you get into that situation?
I was good on the battlefield, had a quick mind, and quicker feet. So they figured
so had
I
it
could.
all then?
I don't know why they chose me. I'm going to guess that Cyrene's mother put in a good word.
I don't know why they wouldn't choose you. Seems like no
I'm-
downsides to that.
I mean,
Brain,
I'm-
the brawn, the actual skills. Why?
the brawn is debatable. I'm flighty,
Okay, well you can
scatterbrained,
fight, okay?
bad with people.
No, stop it.
We can both play the self-deprecating game all night, Miss Santos.
I guess we could. But you are here.
Can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
Why did you leave? Honestly, the file only tells me so much, and I want to hear it from you, someone who's been on the front lines. It's easy for people to be mad for something they don't understand.
Well, so,
I'm sorry?
what did the file tell you anyways? What do you know of it?
You were discharged for mental health reasons. Following, a death in your squad.
I mean, yeah, I guess. There's plenty more before that, but...
As is expected in the Vanguard, unfortunately. I wish they could have gotten you all out of there into somewhere more stable, secure.
know, Vadim wouldn't...
He doesn't care. People are just numbers to him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we all already knew that when we signed up. I know people wouldn't say it, but we all knew it.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
No, it's not. It's what we're trying to change, right?
I guess we still made something of it anyways. So I'd say it didn't matter in the end, I guess. War is war, people. I guess fighting is I no offense, I get the reason behind the revolution, and I ideally want it to work out. Kind of hard to ever picture fighting not being the option, not being always in the picture. But I digress. You asked me a direct question, and I'm getting away from that.
He, very tentatively, almost as if he's not sure, puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, I'm sorry if I'm too direct. The curiosity has been eating at me, but if it's too much, you don't have to answer.
No, people ask so many times anyways. I might as well. I have to give somebody an answer at least. I want better than one of my superiors, even though I'm not.
Oh, please, I am
don't.
technically a traitor to king and country. I've lost any and all stature via equals, Jen. Can I call you Jen?
I mean, everybody calls me Jen, sure.
Well, I don't know if you prefer Miss Santos or not. It's a formality at this point.
You can call me Valentine.
Very well.
Or Miss Valentine, either one. I don't know. Any of it's fine. I don't.
Maybe we can unpack that one in another watch, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Why did I leave? That's I don't know. It's kind of everything. Um, I know I just stuck with it, just living with it. That was just how it is for a while. I don't know. Eventually, I don't think I really thought when I did it. Because if I did, I would have probably stayed where I was and been another number on the casualty sheet eventually. Um,
He like his expression tightens when you say that, and like his he looks a little more downtrodden.
I don't know. After eventually, I guess you get used to it. You might have, everyone has their different ideas of how fighting works, but even the best, even the people you're sure are destined to, the best of the best are often sometimes they're the first to go. And the people that are the least, they somehow stick through it all. So honestly, whether or not I stayed, it kind of inevitability, I guess. But I less left for that. I'm more or less just, I don't want to say moved on. I haven't. You can't.
But you tried to, right?
I mean, I tried to forget it existing.
I can't
Whether
blame
that
you.
be by doing some of the most foul things or being really rather nice or noble or just being a diamond's dog. Honestly, anything, any of it. Well, I always get back to here, huh?
I guess there's something about it all that draws people back, huh?
Not the people I saw, but yeah.
Poor choice of words. I apologize.
Yeah, I know. It's it's fine.
I can't blame you. I've seen the aftermaths. If I were in your position, I would have done the same thing. It's horrid being there.
But someone has to be there. Because eventually, I don't know.
We
It'll
put
all fall
ourselves
apart
there,
if
so
someone isn't there.
yeah, we put ourselves there so that we can protect the people who don't deserve to be.
I mean, when you put it like that, it kind of makes it all seem worthless, huh?
I don't know. Sometimes it feels that way, doesn't it?
I don't fight for things, Orion, or for people for noble reasons. I just fight. I honestly, at this point, if someone asked me why I do it, I couldn't give them an answer.
He nods in agreement. He looks at you like he looks you in the eyes, like dead in the eyes, and he says, "Then maybe we should find a reason, change that." Yeah.
What's your reason? Other than Sai getting her out, like that's obvious. That's noble. That's very nice and all.
He looks at Sai as you say that, and then he looks down, kind of like in between the campfire and the ground that you guys are like nearby, and he says, I don't want to disappoint a friend.
Oh, I see. I'm afraid I've already done that, so I can't say the same thing.
You can. I think you're putting yourself a little farther down than you deserve to be. You can ask them when you get back. And
I can't. They're 6 feet under.
the ones who are still here, Miss Valentine, they don't hate you.
Seems like they do. And they have every right to. Because everyone wanted to leave, but you just don't do it.
He lets out a sigh and he says, I suppose some of them got out. And you both notice that the sun is now finally started to really peak. And he says, I think we should wake everyone else up.
Yeah. Except for Flan, she probably will want to sleep longer.
We need to get moving.
Oh, right, yeah, never mind.
We are on a schedule.
Oh, yeah, we haven't been on one of those before. It's gonna be good having it's gonna be good having somebody with
Time management.
many more brain cells.
I suppose.
We share ours. We don't have too many.
Oh, you aren't. You aren't as dumb as you lead yourselves to believe. I don't think an average adventuring party could kill a demon, befriend a dragon, and save a man from 8 goats.
I feel like that's more just dumb. Why not?
He-
Intelligent decisions. Like, who decides to fight a freaking demon? Who does
He-
that? Or try to convince a red dragon to actually not eat you?
He laughs, and he says, "Listen, if smart people made all of the decisions, there'd be no fun in the world." And he walks off and he starts waking folks up.
Hey, Sam, time to get up.
Okay.
Were you just awake? Or no?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
I'm gonna pretend I never heard that.
You hear from the other side of the camp, "Yeah, seconded." But you all get up and can get your belongings and start shipping out. Real quick point of order, I forgot to do this. Sam, as you're sleeping, you have a dream.
Oh.
You are on an empty street back in Spade Kingdom.
Okay.
And it is raining. And you look around, and this area looks very familiar. It looks like your neighborhood, where you grew up. And as you walk out into the road, and you're looking back and forth, you see 3 figures running. And they look very familiar to you. They look like your family. And you see them running. And they run past you without even looking. And as you look down the street, after they pass you, you see a mob of people chasing after them. And it's a large group of people, all decked out in gear that you associate with the Mafia. And you look back at your family, and you can tell that the expression on your mom's faces and on the twins' faces, they're terrified. They look like they've been running for a long time. Their clothes are tattered and stained with rainwater.
So there's only 3 of them. So where's the 4th one?
You don't see them.
I don't see them.
Oh shit. Oh.
And you're looking at this scene play out, and you feel. How do you feel?
They'd probably feel worried, angered, and scared.
So as you're standing there in the rain, you feel the cold fear in your body kind of pulse throughout every limb, and that worry, it almost overtakes you, but then you feel like a spark, and that heat of anger starts to burn, and you feel this warmth in your chest grow and spread, wiping away all that cold. You feel like you're firing on all cylinders, and you look forward and you see that the rain is falling much slower, and that everyone is moving much slower. And you look down and your hands are engulfed in flame.
What?
What happens if I punch one of the mob dudes?
You extend your fist and you punch, and you see a bolt of fire shoot forward, and it decks one in the side of the head, and you see just ash come from that body. And you stand there bewildered, and you hear a voice, and it says,
Fire can create and destroy. Fire can warm, protect, guide. Let me show you.
and you feel your body move to the side, and you are quickly rushed, and time speeds, and you are flying through your neighborhood. And you come to a stop near an intersection. And you see your family running there out of breath. And you see them meet up with the fourth familiar figure, and one more. You don't recognize this fifth person. But you see them all meet up, and they're exhausted, out of breath. They've got nowhere else to go. And you see the mob closing in around them, getting closer and closer. And you reach your hand out, and the fire fades and blinks. And then in an instant, you see a spark, and then a line, and a circle is drawn around your family, and a massive wall of flame erupts around them. And you can see through it. And they still look scared. But as you change your focus and you look outside, you see this mob barreling towards them, and one by one they each run into the fire and puff into ash. Person after person, body after body. They all run into the fire. And when no one is left, the wall fades. And they still look exhausted. And they're still breathing heavy. They don't even seem to know what happened. They didn't pay any notice. And you look around, and the sky is a bright, gleaming orange-red. And then you wake up.
How do you react to that? You don't. You don't react to that. Oh.
Wow.
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 Wow. Yeah, Grace is. I also wrote some of the details. Yeah, I know.
said I woke up, right?
Yeah, your eyes are open and the sun is peeking through the trees.
Sorry for waking you up. Did you have a good night's sleep?
Oh yeah. Great, good, yeah.
That
Booze.
sounds like a tired person. Okay. Your hands good?
Yeah, my hands.
Oh, I don't know. Kind of sleep. But okay.
Sam's gonna go over to Gideon and process everything that just happened.
Yeah, you walk over to your horse and he very eagerly like leans into your touch and you start stroking his like nose and you breathe in and just take a deep sigh. As you breathe out, another little small puff of flame comes out of your mouth. But nobody seems to notice.
Didn't that happen
Yeah.
last time? What happened? When did that first happen?
The last time she got a vision.
Oh, okay.
Goodness. Hui. Hui. Oh, hey, Shiloh. Have you met Skittles yet?
Oh, your cat friend. Yes.
They're not my cat friend. They're not a friend of me. They don't like me.
I mean, you're
I
the
would
one
like
who
to be
paid
their
for
friend.
him. Remember? You're the one who paid to adopt him.
I know, I did, but they don't seem to appreciate that.
Jen, you look at Skittles, who is by Flan's feet, and you say that, and Skittles just hisses.
See? Flan might as well have been
Skittles,
the one
you
to
should
buy them.
appreciate
I thought
Jen
Skittles
more.
was
I say that
great.
in Sylvan.
Skittles, still base boosted, hisses still.
Wait, what did she say?
She said to try to tell the cat to appreciate it more.
I appreciate Jen more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of come to terms with it anyways. It's fine. I wanted to have a nice cat friend for all of us.
You can always try and pet Gideon.
No, thank you. I'd rather
No. We
I'd
know what
rather
the
get
DC
mauled
is.
by a cat than mauled by a horse. One, it's really hard to equal death, and the other one is really easy to equal death.
He wouldn't maul you. He's too big of a sweetheart.
No, he is a fucking war horse. You are just a god among animals.
Shiloh walks over to Gideon and goes to pat like Gideon's nose, and
My god.
Gideon just kind of leans into it a little bit and says, "Oh, but he's such a sweetie."
He may be, but he's kind of hard to impress.
Try petting him, Jen.
And Sam, no, I've been avoiding
You
this
should try it
trouble.
once. You never
Okay.
know.
That's what I thought when I first started trying to with Skittles, but that okay,
Skittles is
sure.
a different situation.
Okay. Gideon's great, so might as well. 17.
You go to pet Gideon, and the horse like startles a second, and you put your like hand on his nose and you stroke it, and he doesn't bite you, but he does not seem comfortable.
Yeah, see, it's like it takes a lot. Gideon can tolerate you, but you really impress Gideon. So Gideon's just all about you, man, and you kind of. I'm not surprised that Gideon likes you either. I don't know, man.
Were you ever mean to I don't know, other cats?
No.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of cats.
No, she doesn't say that.
Well, then I don't know.
She was mean to a tabaxi once.
Oh, come on.
That
I was
would
not.
do it.
What do you mean that would do it? What does that mean?
Are very protective of their kin.
Tabaxi aren't cats.
They are very similar to cats.
I don't think. Flan, you can't think that one time no.
What did you do to Neo?
It's done for. I dropped the pencil.
What did you do to Neo?
I didn't do anything. At least nothing bad.
She threatened him.
Why would you threaten him?
Because he was doing some. I thought he was doing some questionable legal. Like, I thought he was doing something pretty fishy.
Like, we all don't do questionable illegal things in our lifetime.
Like, he was asking me to be a side of the law. Mission is to uphold the law. He gave me that job.
And you uphold the law very well by burning them.
So he
I'm
gives
not
you a
sure
job and
anymore.
you threaten him.
He did give you that job.
He gave me the job of being a sheriff, and then I heard that he probably was involved in and encouraged robberies and such. Like, it's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna be like, yeah, crime is fun. I might think that, but it's my job. I do my job at the very least. What did you think was gonna happen?
As this conversation is going on, Jen and Flan, you both, and Sam, I think everybody has a high enough hours of perception for this. You notice that Orion had been pouring a cup of coffee, but it is now, like, since started overflowing, and he's just in shock.
Is his hands burnt or what?
You think they would? He does not seem to notice.
Or Orion, your coffee.
Oh yeah, Orion, your hands.
Huh? Ah! And he like
Yeah,
throws the
just
cup
now?
up, and the coffee flings upwards and like spills on his face. He screams a bit, and he runs off in a direction.
I'm gonna go after him.
You find him not too far away. He is like pouring his water skin on his face to get the burns like to not hurt as bad.
You want some help there? I can like kind of try and wipe it off.
No, friction will make this worse.
I don't know what makes things worse or better.
It's fine. I just need a moment. Ow.
You need some moral support.
That would be lovely.
The burns will disappear, Orion. You're good. They don't exist.
I'm
Is
not.
that good?
I don't think I'm as smart as I think I am.
Nah.
Ow.
Smart people can be dumb. It's fine.
Yeah. But
Also,
after
it's pretty loud and distracting, so there's that.
after a few minutes, y'all saddle up on your horses after some breakfast and head on your way.
On your way.
So as the party makes their way out through this day of travel, along the roads, Shiloh stops them all and informs them that they are all being tailed, or rather winged, by a group of ravenous Perytons. The entire party gets ready to fight them, and things get kind of dicey as these giant winged creatures dive in and out of the party, slicing up and tearing into the more squishy party members, and things look a little dire, at least until...
Nat 20.
Okay, so what do you roll 3d10 for Chromatic Orb, right?
Yeah.
So you deal 30 plus 3d10 damage. So roll it.
No, it's D8.
Oh, so you deal 24 plus 3d8 damage.
So that is 8 plus 15 plus 4. 19.
So 19 plus 24 is
Is
46?
3.
43, sorry. So you all see Flan just kind of manifest a ball of flame about the size of the fire elemental's fist and just lob it upwards. And this creature is like getting ready for its turn right after this. So it preps a dive and it starts heading straight down, and then the fireball like grows in size to be 3 times the size of this Peryton. And the thing dives through it and comes out the other end a KFC family dinner.
You have
Why do
incinerated.
you phrase it like I can't see family dinner?
Because I'm hungry. But this
family
8-piece
dinner.
Colonel's bucket lands succinctly in front of Flan, and a plate appears out of nowhere, and just perfectly garnished 11 herbs and spices. And Orion looks at you and says,
I made us French.
That was one of the most impressive chromatic orbs I've ever seen. What the fuck, Miss Dulce?
We have French now.
Shiloh walks up and says,
I was gonna say that they're single-minded and would attack whoever they chose until either they died or we did. Also, I'm usually a vegetarian, but I'll make an exception.
I'll make an exception.
and they walk over and they pick up a drumstick and
Drumstick.
sit down.
Jen is fucking catatonic. Like,
So after the encounter with the Periton, the party decides to take a short rest before they tackle the water elemental. During the short rest, Sam decides to...
Go over to like the water area.
Sure.
And meditate and sort of like pray / question what that vision was all about.
Sure. Roll me percentile dice.
80.
You meditate and you focus and you feel yourself open your eyes and you are surrounded by fire. And it's nice and warm, but it's not like when you're fighting the elemental where it's burning you. It's just a nice warm glow. And you look around and then you look back in front of you and you see a silhouette that looks exactly like you sitting, mirroring your position. What do you do?
Do you have a name?
The silhouette leans back a little bit and shakes its head.
What should I call you then?
It leans forward a little bit and you hear a voice in your head say,
What would you call me?
and it after a moment leans back.
wait, no.
Wait,
No,
wait,
wait,
wait.
wait.
I was looking up Fire and Lion. Ignis?
The silhouette leans back and nods, and then you see the color come to the silhouette and you see a handsome figure with this flame-like wild hair, almost as if its hair is actually just an open flame, sitting mirroring your position in front of you. It is bare-chested, and it is wearing these nice kind of, you know how the genie's pants look,
Yeah.
like those, and a belt with a shining ruby in the center. And they open their mouth and they say, "Then I suppose my name is Ignis."
Oh, okay. What are you exactly?
Their expression furrows, and they think for a moment and say,
I believe that is something we will discover.
All right. How would you want to discover that?
I do not know.
Fair enough.
Their expression gets like a little awkward, and they're like looking to the left and right, and they say, "Did you need anything else?"
The dream that I had last night, was that a dream, or was that something that actually happened?
They are safe. That's what you
Okay.
want to hear. That's what you want to know.
Yeah.
That is the truth. They are safe.
All right. Did you want something from me?
I do not know.
You.
This is all very new.
How is it new?
When I have that answer, I will tell you. But for now, there is much discovery on both of our ends.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the flames kind of begin engulfing everything, and you open your eyes, and you're back. And you look down at your reflection in the water, and you could swear you see Ignis's form for a second, but you blink, and it's your reflection.
Christian, why do you have to make your characters so hot?
I'm dying! I am on the floor! I've been having a heart attack! What is this?
Gods can be hot!
Oh my fucking god!
So after Sam's meeting with Ignis, the party regroups and prepares to fight the water elemental. This foe proved to be much more slippery, as water tends to be, but with a little bit of effort and a little more than your average amount of bad rolls.
I'll go punch it.
Sure, you run up, and you can punch it.
Not one.
Not one? Okay. So you go in and you like sink your fist into the water, and then you feel yourself starting to get pulled in. I need you to make
Oh no!
a strength saving throw to pull your fist out.
Oh!
6.
So,
You have
as your like arm gets consumed, you try to pull, and then your shoulder goes in, and you lose your footing on the loose gravel of the riverbed, and you get sucked into this creature. And you are going to take 16 points of bludgeoning damage, as you are currently in the raging water storm.
The party is eventually able to take this thing down after a lot of hassle and it bobbing and weaving and running into the river. And afterwards, the party is able to get the essence, and they prepare for another night of watches.
Maya will take second watch, Shyla will take first, Orion will take third again. Feel free to join if you'd like. If not, they can just take the watches on their own.
Shiloh.
Shiloh's on first watch, Maya's on second, and Orion's on third.
Shiloh.
I'm gonna be one trick pony and do the same thing I did last time.
Go for it. So, Jen and Orion are third watch. You guys don't have to join watches if you don't want to, by the way.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm like, nah. I don't know.
Might as well, if you find anything, at least you're awake.
Sam will do first watch for Shiloh.
Yay!
Okay.
What a dynamic! Oh my god, this is horrible.
Sure, I'll go with Maya.
Okay. The first watch begins, and Shiloh kind of like rubs their hands together and spreads them out above their head, and you see these 4 dancing lights appear, and they just kind of make a perimeter around where you guys are taking watch. And let's both roll perception. Not you yet. Okay.
16.
All right. So you both are keeping watch, and stuff is fairly quiet. Again, you think fighting an elemental has scared away anything that means harm. Especially since you guys are left the corpses of 3 Perytons in your wake.
Ugh.
Oof.
Shiloh kind of turns to Sam and says, How did you meet them?
At a bar.
You eat everybody at a bar.
Oh. Why are you traveling with them then?
I had nothing better to do.
I can't judge. I'm doing the same.
So your name was Shiloh, right?
Yes, I was the apothecary in a town they passed through. They did a job for the town, and afterwards I left. They didn't really need a doctor too much longer after the hag was dealt with.
That's fun.
I guess.
Do you like music?
Yes.
Yeah, Sam will just play the flute.
Shiloh will just kind of tap their leg to the beat. It's a nice calm watch. Was there anything you wanted to ask Shiloh specifically?
Nope.
All right, then the watch goes, and at the end of it, you all will wake up Maya and Flan. And Maya sits down and like pats the stump next to her.
I'll go over.
When you sit down, let's both make perception checks.
20.
You notice that the what animals there probably should be around here are very quiet. Like you don't sense any frogs or anything. You think they've seriously been scared.
Even scared. He's like, I can't emphasize enough how scary this was, guys.
Maya will turn to Flan and say, "Good shots."
Not really sure where those came from. Even I'm surprised, to be honest.
Pent up?
I don't know. I guess that doesn't happen often.
Maya nods. She goes to speak again, but then she stops, and then she signs, "How have you been?"
I've been doing alright. Like, I guess focused on what's happening now. Just dealing with the dragon situation first.
Maya nods.
I don't know. There's not much else I've been thinking about recently.
She signs, "Really? Not homesick?"
Not so much.
She signs, "I'm a little homesick."
Miss your sister.
She nods.
We don't really know where we're headed after Stone's Throw. We could always, plan to go to Spade Kingdom next. I know Sam has a situation too.
She sighs and signs, "Dangerous."
So you don't know if your sister's safe or not? No word from her?
She nods. She signs,
Haven't seen her. Then she stops. She says, don't remember seeing her for. And then you see her, like, count on her hands. She holds up 6 fingers. And then she signs
Aw.
years.
I never asked what her name was.
She, like,
Sorry,
she hits her forehead,
kinda
like,
got-
in a kind of
Sorry.
I'm a dunce motion.
Oh, I forgot to ask.
She, like, gestures that it's okay. And she signs Nahua.
Nawa?
She nods.
How old is she now?
She takes a deep breath. She starts counting.
Yeah.
She holds up a 1 and a 3.
13.
Puts her hands up.
Oh.
That's her best guess, you think.
Hmm. I mean, do you at least know, like, general area of Spade Kingdom she would be in? Like, or specific place? I don't know.
She signs, I have some guesses.
Hmm. I hope she's okay too.
She smiles and signs. She's tough.
Yeah. But yeah.
I wonder about the rest of Maya's family.
Yeah. The option's open to go there as soon as possible after, well, we get done with this.
She signs thank you. But she looks concerned. She signs, don't think I'm strong enough yet. And then she signs, what about you? Do you have family?
Well, to be honest, I have a little sister I miss too.
She signs name.
Stell.
You see her like do that oh gesture. And she asks,
I also have an older brother. It's a complicated situation. He's not in the best situation right now.
she looks worried.
He's safe.
And that worried expression
He's not
loosens a bit.
in danger, but he's not happy.
She nods.
I don't know.
She signs, any way we can help?
I mean, it's a pretty complicated situation. It's a lot. It would require going back to Yetta eventually. I don't know when that would be. But eventually, I want to help them get out of that situation.
She nods and signs, when you're ready, I've got your back.
Thank you, Maya.
She opens her arms wide for a hug.
She hugs her.
I don't know. It's just. It's been 5 years since I've seen them. I was kicked out of my home city a long time ago.
She signs, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And then she signs, we can help them.
Yeah, eventually. I hope I can get them out of there. Possibly.
She signs again, we can help them.
I'm gonna need all the help I can get.
She looks at your sleeping companions and signs, think we can take whatever they throw at us.
It's just, you know how noble stuff is. Pretty complicated to convince people to do things.
She signs, worst comes to worst.
I punched them, right?
There's always that.
She smiles. Yeah. If there's anything else you want to talk to Maya about, we can. If not, then we can move on to the next.
I think that's it.
Okay. So the shift ends, and once again, Orion will like signal that your guys' shift is over and points back to the beds. And he goes and he wakes up Jen. Then he says, "Looks like it's you and me again."
Yeah.
He offers his hand to help you up.
She's a little confused, but she accepts it anyways. Not used to that. Thanks.
He helps you up, and he like sits on the stump again and motions for you to join him.
Pauses and just does it. Okay.
Roll perception checks.
17.
All right. You nothing is wrong with the surroundings, but you do notice that Orion's a little distracted.
What's going on again?
Do you ask?
Yeah.
He says, still thinking about plans. I have some ideas, but they are difficult.
Well, let's hear 'em. We're all kind of doing it, so might as well. No idea's a stupid idea as long as we figure out.
You better hold on to that sentiment. And he says, as far as I can think, we need to do 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Get a safe haven, build a resistance, and prevent complications with the overthrow.
What kind of complications? Like,
Well, if we disrupt the monarchy and the ruling structure right now, we would be easy targets for the diamonds. So we need to prevent that. And, well, there are a couple of ways of doing that.
such as.
We could target their allies, though I'm not entirely sure who that is.
Spade Kingdom?
Right, but not Spade Kingdom as a whole.
The Mafia in Spade Kingdom?
Well, I don't know how good I'd be at overthrowing a mafia, but sure, that's a possibility.
We already started, so they hate us already, so.
Fair point. The next way would be to target their supplies, which we could do by targeting their allies and going into their home turf and sabotaging the supply lines. But the biggest thing is, we need to disrupt them as much as we're disrupting ourselves.
As in, what do you mean by that?
We need to put their ruling class into disorder.
Like, kind of mess up all the communication and kind of thing?
Kind of like put their monarchy in a worse state than ours would be.
Oh.
And that's a problem because from what I read in the reports, Impera already has her successor chosen and ready. So if she is dealt with, they would be able to recover quickly. We would have to take out her and her successor. But I don't. That's in a league all of its own.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing I can think of that would put them in a state to where the diamonds couldn't act while we are changing everything, while we are getting everyone used to the new ruler, implementing our rules and fixing things. It gives us time. It gives us as much time as we need.
Is there any way we can disrupt it a different way?
The diamonds are incredibly efficient, Miss Valentine. They have contingencies for everything. But
yeah,
they are narcissistic.
The ruling class has a large ego. They likely only have the one contingency in case of a death of the monarch, and that would be her heir. So if we take out their contingency plan, they will scramble. And that gives us a window.
Mhm.
I can't think of any other way to do that. But for that to even have a chance, we'd have to do all of the other steps first. Meanwhile, building and training an army so that
Can
we
I
can
ask-
move.
Can I ask a slightly off-topic question,
Uh,
Orion?
Of course, I could use any excuse to not think about this.
Sure. What are your thoughts on, I guess, the war or our situation with the diamonds that's been going on for as long as anyone can remember, really?
The reason to start the war, I believe, was valid. The diamonds
Yeah.
encroached on our territory to take our resources out of their own greed.
Yeah.
But prolonging it this far, taking it this extremely, is
Only
wrong.
hurts us.
This is a fight that neither side will win.
Mhm.
So a ceasefire could be just what the kingdoms need.
It'd be kind of hard to have a ceasefire if
Yeah,
either of
truthfully,
the rulers are dead. And
well,
they wouldn't accept it either.
yeah, but I can't think of another way to get the fighting to stop aside from introducing a bigger problem than the fighting.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that if we can get Sai on the throne, she will be able to rally the people in a way that will let us put an end to this war for good.
Yeah.
She is not as violent as her father, so there is hope for a peaceful solution.
I just have a hard time imagining going right for the throat. Maybe the current reigning one, but
From what I've read, from what we've learned, the successor is no better. He was personally groomed by Impera herself. Believes the same as she does, acts the same as she does. We need someone inexperienced, someone new. I don't know. Someone who hasn't been influenced by Impera.
oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking
But I don't know who that is. And I don't think we're going to find out until we do the thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting fighting a war that. Yeah. Never mind.
I understand. If there were a way to do this peacefully, believe me, I would take it, but I can't. That too many people are angry. Too many people are blinded by aggression.
The reason has left. I know that there is still, but it's because the war continues.
If we can give even a momentary pause, perhaps people will reflect. And yes, it's a horrible, horrible thing.
Gosh, things are complicated.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kingdoms
they are.
complicated. Ay.
This way, I think, gets the fewest people killed.
How do you deal with this on a daily basis? Having to think up all that. Oh, it gives me a headache just thinking it.
He kind of chuckles and he reaches into his side bag and he pulls out a bottle of wine and he uncorks it and he says, partially with some of this, partially with some good friends, and when I have the time, a good book. He says, do you want a glass?
Sure. Never can turn down.
And he reaches into his bag again and he pulls out 2 wine glasses and he hands one to you and he pours you a glass and he pours himself a glass.
You just have wine glasses on you?
It's a bag of holding.
Oh, I'm like break or something. I'm like,
No. And he finishes pouring himself a glass, and he raises it, and he says, "To trying to figure out whatever this is."
you doing a good job at that, and me just kind of helping.
You're going to be very important. So it's going to be little more than help.
I'll take your word for it.
And he toasts, and you take a sip, and the wine's very nice, actually.
Like how? Like compared to what?
Like, this is something you would probably have expected to have bought in that fancy-ass district in Stone's Throw.
Nice. I never drank that one. Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. You just okay. Never mind.
And you all keep watch for a bit, and he takes another sip of his wine, and he says, "So, what's the story behind Valentine?" All of your records have you listed as Santos, and your home residence is also registered under that.
Yeah, and that's how yep. That's how I roll. I go with Santos, but trust me, Valentine is just it is technically also.
Would you prefer me to call you Santos?
I don't know, honestly.
What happened?
Fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Grace. Let's see. What?
What happened? Why the sour taste in your mouth about the name Valentine?
It's complicated.
He looks up at the night sky. He says, "I think we have like 3 hours." Then he takes another sip of his wine.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm honestly not quite sure how to explain it, I guess.
Then let's start simple. Where does the name come from?
I will say, yeah, no, everyone else has their family situations are far more complicated. This is nothing. I just only one of my family members, one of my parents is a club. Only one of them. But she left a long time ago for her own reasons. I still don't know what I think about that, but
I take it, she had the last name then?
yeah, she's
Sister?
my biological mom.
Oh.
And both my, I guess, current quote-unquote parents, both of them are babes. My dad's honestly more of a club than my club mom, but that's neither here nor there. And now that she's gone, Mrs. Valentine, she's who's here. I don't know. It's mostly childish me refusing to acknowledge her. One of these days I'll actually be a grown adult of age of what? 30 or 32? I've honestly lost track at this point. I'll actually be a grown up and stop being a butt about it. But I'm so used to it by now. I'm just Jen Santos, not Jen Valentine.
So then, what do you want me to call you?
I don't know.
If Valentine doesn't sit well, I don't want to dredge up bad memories.
I need to get used to it.
Want to be Santos, you can be Santos.
I don't want to be either, honestly.
I understand that feeling.
What's your last name?
Kessler. Orion Kessler.
Fancy. Has a nice ring to it.
It's okay, I suppose.
Fitting of someone of your stature, I guess.
You know I wasn't born into this stature, right?
I don't know anything about you, Orion. I'm all ears for whatever.
I was raised, I was raised by Bastion, the city near the border. My mother was part of the Vanguard. My father was, he ran some kind of store, I don't remember. We didn't get treated very well, being drow and all. Lots of bad stigma.
I hear you there, that's for sure.
Yeah, two peas in a pod about that, aren't we?
Yeah. Tell me about it. I just...
My mother made friends with Sai's grandmother. They were in the same unit. So through proxy, when my mother was in the barracks, I spent time with Sai's mother, and when Sai's grandmother was in the barracks, her mother spent time with me. We became close family friends. Being a full orc and a drow, we were safe to say we would get picked on.
Oh. But at least you shared that.
I guess. Doesn't make it any easier for a couple of stupid kids, right?
No, it does not. But you take what you get.
I wanted to be anything else, so I enlisted. Tried to get myself away from home, away from the stigma. If I was just another soldier, no one would care, right?
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
It's better to be nameless, I think, sometimes. But Cyrian's mother and I, we both enlisted. She was recognized for her skill on the field, and a young Vadim Karakov took notice. So she was whisked off to the palace to be his beautiful blushing bride. He was looking for a Kingsguard to replace the one who took care of his father. I was suggested. So, not through any skill of my own did I get the position. I was just given very large shoes and had to fill them.
I guess. But I guess you kind of succeeded in a way, almost.
I would call that luck of the draw.
Yeah, but it was your draw.
Sometimes I think I might have done better just running the shop like my dad did.
Oh, don't. The only way you regret decisions is, well, when you decide to regret them. There's no what's the best decision. Pick one. Although I'm one to say, but...
Well, I may have not wanted all of this, but now that I'm here, I figure I need to do a good job, right? Protect what's worth protecting. what I was recommended for. Is there anything you want to protect?
At this point, I don't know. Sometimes, but I always learn that I can't do anything about that.
You seem to be doing a pretty good job on the field.
Yeah.
And I think your file said something about having a hobby.
Hobby? I'm trying to think.
Ah, God, I don't. Let's see if I remember.
No, no, please don't think about it.
Weren't you trying to run an inn?
No, I wasn't trying to do anything, Orion. I wasn't trying to do anything.
You have a terrible poker face.
I'm not trying to have a poker face. I just no. I hear. Darn you for bringing that up. Darn you.
Sorry, I think it's the vine.
Sure.
Gets me a little more comfortable than I usually am. But if you don't want me to press on it, I won't.
Nah. You already said it anyways. Just saying. I don't know. Any hobbies or any productive anything has just kind of gone out of the door. What's been going on?
Maybe when this is all over, you can go back to pursuing those. You won't have to fight anymore.
Won't know what to do with myself.
Well, I'm sure we could always use your help in the capital.
No, thank you.
Fair enough.
What?
I said fair enough.
That's a little too much responsibility for me to fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I'll
You don't
figure
have
out
that-
some way to pay you back if this all works.
I'm good. The wine's good enough payment as anything.
Really? I just made it myself. It's not anything special.
You made this yourself?
Yeah. I mean, a pocket dimension is a very easy place to ferment things.
But you still made it!
Yeah.
Excuse me, this changes everything.
Well, I like to make things. Grapes are easy to come by when you're on the run. Just pick a couple through the vineyard while you're being chased by
You say
Crown's Guard.
that so nonchalantly. Oh yeah, I'm on the run. Let me go pick some grapes. Let me go make some wine. Gosh, in all of your running, you were far more productive than me.
We had to do a lot of hiding, and when you're sitting in a barn for 4 days, you get bored.
When I get bored, I just drink some more. God.
Well, I had to make something to drink, didn't I, Jen?
How the fuck does he ferment shit in that short of a...
Waking up at this point.
He's been on the run
I
for a
feel
while.
like Jen would be waking people up. by
Still,
now.
not like...
Time works differently in demi-planes.
Time does work differently
Goodness.
in different planes.
What the?
He
Goodness, is there? Tell me something that you're bad at, because this is. I'm completely honest. You
well,
say that you are not my superior, and that I'm selling myself short, but I'm pretty damn sure that you're superior. Like, I haven't heard a single bad thing yet.
I'm bad with people. Never had
You're
a girlfriend,
doing
I guess.
fine enough now. I say that's a fucking lie. You were friends with Cyrene's mother. You're friends with Cyrene. I'd say Vadim doesn't count. Okay, you're good with the right people. Okay,
I don't think 2 friends makes me good with people.
that's enough.
Does Jen's freaking out wake anybody up?
I'll say no.
Okay.
And he says, I've only ever had 2 friends.
Still,
I don't know. I've never had any luck
that's
in the
enough.
romance
Doesn't
department.
mean you're bad with.
I'm
bad with people,
very
you wouldn't
bad
have
when it
any.
comes to dogs.
I mean,
I
Skittles
can't
hates
cook for my
me.
life.
Well, I got you there. You don't have to worry about that.
You've got me there. You're going to cook for me?
Jen chokes on the wine. Start the wedding bells down.
I hear
I don't know. There are plenty of things I'm very bad at. I never was a good dancer either.
You're just saying a lot of really trivial things.
I'm good at trivial things too. What more? What do you want from me?
I mean, like, what's like an actual freaking flaw? I'm a fucking coward. There's one.
I don't know. I'm kind of clingy.
I can't picture that, honestly.
I'm literally hauling my best friend's daughter halfway around the world,
I mean,
and she's dead.
that just seems like dedicated. That just doesn't seem like clingy. That just seems like dedicating yourself to a thing. That's like cool. And
You can put a positive spin on any negative trait, Miss Santos.
No, not really. Not my negative traits or Sam's negative traits.
You know when to take care of yourself, and you're protective. Some people would call that cowardice. They're wrong, but you know.
No, I am a freaking coward.
Well, I also dare beg to differ. And it's
You
at
beg
this
to differ
point
about
that
a lot of damn things, don't you?
he laughs, and at this point you see that the sun is starting to peek out, and he says, "Oh well, I guess it's time for us to wake up our friends."
Oh, thank goodness. I was gonna lose this conversation inevitably.
He laughs and he says, "That being said, though, if that offer for dinner is ever open, let me know."
Ooh.
And he
Ooh.
stands up and starts walking back, and you see him like he kind of sways a little bit. And he pockets the wine. He seems to maybe be a little more influenced than he should be.